Instability. I have been cleaning up the kids' cupboard, and this little dude has inspired me to do a little post about my cervical instability, because this guy demonstrates that pretty well, because he's happy chappy. Look at him, he's living life. He can swing here, swing there, he can dance around. He can do his life here pretty well, because as much as he's got all this wibbly wobbly and flexibility, he has stability to go along with it. So in my little old neck, or in anybody's little neck, I suppose, this is what we want to see, where it can move and bend, but when it does, it still stays in alignment. And that's how he has this wonderful ability to move and do his life. So when I speak to invisible disability, what I'm speaking to is that this is what it looks like from the outside. I had the digital motion x-ray done, which showed when things move, as it does here. There's a subluxation, which means this little guy who's a bit looser here, doesn't have the support, slips like that. And we get problems from that, because there's something that the spine likes, and it is stability. It likes it for a reason, because the spinal cord is protected inside of these vertebrae in the neck. And problems arise when normal and static images and tests are utilized to try and diagnose a dynamic disability like this. So you don't actually notice on Lizzie here that there's anything wrong until Lizzie is moved. And until you do move Lizzie, you won't see that there's actually a major problem going on there. And that's the same with the imaging that is used to diagnose the instability in my neck, that until I had a dynamic digital motion x-ray done, there was nobody who would recognize or see that there was actually something wrong, because if they looked at an x-ray or MRI, everything looked perfectly fine. But our ligaments move when we move. As you can see in this x-ray, this digital motion x-ray here, it's a totally different picture from what you get from the normal static ones. After years of begging to have such a test done, I was finally able to get it on, talking to the right person with the right skill set to be able to order it. And once you do know, then you know. What happens with me is there's a subluxation, which means this little guy who's a bit looser here, doesn't have the support, slips like that. And we get problems. Once you do know, then you know. See, and that's the thing that is really frustrating, is that the patients knew that something was wrong, and yet they couldn't get the right testing. And well, I knew that something was wrong. So once it was discovered, I was able to go and have a procedure done. Well, actually it was 3 procedures called PRP, plasma-rich protein, was injected into the ligaments in my neck that were too lax, something that you cannot do any exercises to strengthen. The ligaments cannot strengthen through exercise. So exercising the muscles was only causing me more problems because of the laxicity in the ligaments, until I had those ligaments strengthened through the PRP. Looking back, things make sense with the right kind of knowledge. So things like the way that my neck muscles were always so tight and strained makes sense when it's trying to hold on a head against ligaments that can't. Things like always getting told off for putting my elbows on the table. I was literally holding my own head on because the ligaments were too lax to do that for me in the way that they're meant to. Things like going for rides on public transport, in cars, on trams. Oh, this day was horrible, trying to have an adventure with the kiddos on the trams, and that was something that I won't be doing again without a collar on, even after the PRP procedure. Now, there is a difference between this subluxation and ligament laxicity in my neck that means that I have instability versus having just more range of motion from hypermobility. So you can have hypermobility and not have instability. You can have a normal movement and range of motion, or you can have like I have, which is hypermobility and the instability that comes along with that from the laxicity in the ligaments. Oh, it keeps pinching my fingers. This isn't as easy as I thought it would be. Fingers are like going, ow! It hurts every time. And just as my fingers were getting irritated and pinched as I was trying to move Lizzie here, so too are the ongoing impacts through my body. So the nerves that come through that neck region are responsible for so much. And there's blood vessels and there's muscles that all get impacted. Things are getting pinched, things are getting irritated, and the ongoing effects are very wide-reaching. So when it slips out of position, that's subluxation. But when it actually moves all the way out of position, that is dislocation. So it's all the way out of place. So dislocation is completely separated, and subluxation is a movement that is not ideal for alignment and can compromise things. In the vertebrae here, because there's other structures and things that keep it there, it doesn't fully dislocate, but it subluxes, and it's a nice little space that's kind of important coming out from your brain to your neck. And and now you can see it easily that things are slipping around in there in ways that they shouldn't, just like poor old Lizzie here. But the very frustrating parts is that the patient, me, I knew that something was wrong, and nothing that I could say would get somebody to actually look at that properly until I got to the right people who were EDS aware and understood that actually maybe it made perfect sense that I was having all of these multitude of problems, because there's a multitude of things that are delivered through the neck to the body via the spinal cord that is encased by these vertebrae that are slipping around, and so there are ongoing issues that are created from it. When we talk about invisible disability, it might look like this on the outside and like everything is fine,